Hey everyone, so today we're going to dive into something really cool, a fascinating approach that tackles two massive skills at the exact same time. We're talking about mastering the tech to become a web developer and mastering the language of the global tech world, English.
You know, for tons of aspiring developers all over the world, this isn't just some hypothetical question. It's a real, daily dilemma. Should you focus on learning React today or on beefing up your English so you can actually understand the tutorials? Well, what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could learn both, perfectly in sync?
So let's really dig into this, because to get why the solution is so smart, you first have to appreciate the problem. And it's something we can call the double learning curve.
Think about it. On one side, you've got this massive technical mountain to climb. You try to learn these complex frameworks like React and Next.js, plus stuff like Tailwind CSS. And at the very same time, you've got a whole other mountain to climb, the language one. You're trying to grasp all this technical vocabulary, figure out the grammar, and just build the confidence to talk about your ideas. Trying to scale both of those at once, it can be absolutely overwhelming.
And this often leads to something called language shock. It's that feeling, of being totally mentally overloaded when you're trying to debug a really tricky piece of code while also translating the documentation in your head. It's a huge roadblock, and it can seriously slow down your progress in both coding and English.
Okay, so how do you get past a roadblock that big? Well, there's a really innovative project out there that's tackling this exact problem by completely rethinking the whole learning process.
The core idea is, honestly, it's simple, but it's so powerful. Instead of treating coding and English like two separate classes you have to take, you fuse them. You blend them into one single integrated path. The goal is to make it a seamless journey where your tech skills and your language abilities grow together, literally hand in hand.
And you might be wondering, who is this for? Well, this whole approach is really designed for a specific kind of person. It's for anyone who's hungry to become a developer, but feels like their English level is holding them back. It's for learners who want to study tech in English, but need the language to be introduced clearly and step by step, not just thrown at them all at once.
Okay, so this sounds great in theory, right? But what's really interesting is how it actually works. How do you sync up two totally different skills like that? Let's take a look at the method.
And this slide, wow, it just lays it out perfectly. So picture this. When you're starting with the basics, like, say, learning HTML tags to build a simple bio page, the lessons use really simple, clear English. Basic commands, simple sentences. But then as you move on to more intermediate projects, like building a responsive photo gallery with CSS, the grammar gets richer, the technical vocabulary expands to include terms like flexbox or media queries. And by the time you're building advanced applications, you're not just learning code anymore. You're totally immersed in the kind of fluent, natural technical English you'd actually hear in a real-world team meeting. The genius here is that one skill never outpaces the other. They grow together.
All right, so what's the end game here? What does this whole synchronized journey actually produce? Well, it's about way more than just learning to code.
This quote from the course material really says it all. It's not about just passively listening to lectures. It's about active, hands-on creation. By building real-world projects, things like a working shopping cart or an interactive dashboard, you're applying both your new coding knowledge and your new language skills in a practical context. And that's what makes the learning really stick.
And this is the payoff. This is the big transformation we're talking about. Students don't just finish with a portfolio of cool web projects. They finish with the confidence to actually discuss their work, to write documentation, to understand their colleagues, all in English. They become ready to jump into an international team, breaking down those barriers that might have held them back before.
And that brings us to a final, pretty big thought. As the tech world gets more and more connected and remote work becomes the standard, being able to communicate across borders is just as crucial as being able to code. So could this kind of integrated model, where tech and language are taught as one, actually be the future of how we train the next generation of global developers? It's a really powerful question to think about.